In Minneapolis. To understand today's differences, we need to begin with how Somali migration unfolded, because arrival conditions matter more than culture. Large-scale Somali migration began after the collapse of the Somali state in the early 1990s. Families fled war, famine, and political breakdown. But where they went and how they were received differed dramatically. In the United States, most Somalis arrived as officially resettled refugees. This process involved federal coordination, local NGOs, and community sponsorship. Refugees were dispersed into specific cities, Minneapolis-St. Paul being the most significant, where housing, employment assistance, language programs, and legal status were relatively clear. Crucially, Somali refugees in the U.S. entered a system designed, imperfectly but intentionally, for long-term settlement. In much of Europe, the experience was different. Many Somalis arrived through asylum systems, often after long, uncertain journeys. Legal status could take years to resolve. Temporary protection, repeated interviews, and the threat of deportation created instability. Instead of planned resettlement, many were placed in reception centers, peripheral housing, or segregated estates, often far from economic hubs. This difference shaped psychology. In the U.S., many Somalis arrived knowing, "This is where we rebuild." In Europe, many arrived thinking, "We are waiting." Waiting changes behavior. Waiting delays investment in language, business, and community institutions. The divergence begins here. Minnesota did not become a strong Somali hub by accident. The Twin Cities offered something rare: scale without dispersal. Enough Somalis arrived in the same place to form a critical mass, not isolated individuals, but a community. This mattered. When numbers reach a certain threshold, communities shift from survival mode to institution building. Mosques, businesses, media outlets, nonprofits, and political organizations emerge. Informal support becomes formal structure. Somali malls in Minneapolis are not just shopping centers. They are economic ecosystems. Money circulates internally. Employment networks form. New arrivals are absorbed faster. Political participation followed. In the U.S. system, local politics are accessible. School boards, city councils, and state legislatures are open to grassroots organizing. Voting blocs matter. Representation is possible. Somalis learned quickly that participation produced results. In Europe, scale often worked differently. Large Somali populations were sometimes concentrated in economically isolated suburbs with limited upward mobility. Housing policies unintentionally clustered poverty rather than opportunity. Local political systems were less responsive, more centralized, and harder to access for newcomers. Where political participation feels symbolic, engagement declines. Where business regulation is rigid, entrepreneurship slows. The result is not cultural withdrawal, it is rational disengagement. Minnesota rewarded visibility. Some European systems penalized it. Communities respond accordingly. One of the most persistent myths is that Somali communities choose different paths in different places. But human behavior is rarely about preference alone. It is about incentives. In the U.S., work, even low-paying work, often pays more than welfare. Small businesses are easier to start. Informal hustle can become formal enterprise. Failure is survivable. This encourages risk-taking. In parts of Europe, welfare systems, while designed for protection, sometimes unintentionally discourage early labor market entry. Complex regulations, credential barriers, and language thresholds slow economic participation. This encourages caution. Neither system is morally superior, but they reward different behaviors. social trust also evolves differently. In Minnesota, Somali clan networks exist, but they operate within a broader institutional framework that limits conflict. Disagreements do not threaten survival. Law enforcement, courts, and political mediation exist. Trust expands outward. In marginalized European settings where opportunity feels scarce, trust contracts inward. Clan and family become protection mechanisms again. This is not failure to integrate. It is adaptation to perceived risk. The same logic applies to public visibility. Confidence grows where success is visible and repeatable. Withdrawal grows where effort brings little return. The community reflects the system. Somali communities do not look different because Somalis are different. They look different because environments produce different outcomes. Minnesota shows what happens when scale, opportunity, and political access align. Europe shows what happens when uncertainty, marginalization, and delayed inclusion persist. This is not a story about blame of migrants or host societies. It is a story about structure. When people feel secure, they build. When they feel temporary, they wait. When they feel excluded, they withdraw. Same people, different incentives, different results. This is the Human Map, where we explore how history, policy, and environment shape human behavior. If this episode challenged your assumptions, subscribe to the Human Map for more documentaries like this. And let us know in the comments, do you think communities succeed because of culture or because of the systems they enter? We'll see you in the next story.